Hey guys, so today I'm going to do another ranking video. This one's going to be about bottled water. And you might be wondering why rank bottled water? Well, for me, I've tried many different brands and types of bottled water, and there's 50 different brands in this video I'm going to go over. So yeah, it's just another thing that I want to talk about because most people probably don't realize that bottled water can all taste different from each other. Most people just think water is water. Well, there are differences, like minor differences in taste, I would say. It's not like obviously not going to be as big of a difference as between water and another kind of fluid, but there's still differences. So yeah, when you drink water, water it can come from different types of sources, like mineral water, spring water, water that's been processed or purified in some way, like via reverse osmosis. These can all taste different. There's minor differences, but they all do have differences. That's why there's actually a profession called water sommeliers, which is kind of like the wine connoisseurs of water. So you can do a water taste test the way you can do a wine taste test. So yeah, so it's kind of these subtle differences that you look for when you try water out. So anyways, I'm going to go over my ranking, and I'm going to rank them into 4 different tiers. It doesn't make sense to have more than that, but yeah, just A tier. A tier would be the highest tier, obviously, but it's going to be like bottled water that I would have no trouble recommending or getting if it's available. So basically, if a water brand's in the A tier, I would almost always go for it. B tier, water that's it's pretty good. I definitely wouldn't mind trying it. And if there is a water brand in the A tier, I would still go for that. But I would be perfectly satisfied with B tier because it's still really pretty good. And then C tier is the water that is just fine. I don't necessarily like it, and there's definitely better alternatives, but it's not terrible or not something I wouldn't drink. And then D tier is the one that's basically the water I would drink only if I had to. I mean, there's not going to be any water brand that's an F because I mean it has to be drinkable. Every bottled water brand has to be drinkable, right? So there's nothing that's not drinkable. But D tier are probably going to be the water that I would avoid drinking if possible because it's not really that special or interesting to me, and I don't like the taste of it. So yeah, I'm gonna go over the different brands in this video today and just give you guys my thoughts and opinions briefly on them. By the way, guys, these are all pictures I took myself. They aren't pictures I just searched for on the internet and then I basically just saved it or whatever. These are just pictures I actually took myself, and I have it posted on my Instagram. If you guys are curious to go through my Instagram, you can always find these pictures. But yeah, I took them myself. So part of my ranking is going to be based on the price of the bottle as well. So if a water brand is, I feel, overpriced for what you get, then it's going to earn itself a lower tier. So in this case, Aquafina, because I wouldn't say that Aquafina is the most expensive water, but it's still overpriced because it's essentially just tap water. And you can look this up. It's basically just taking from the same municipal sources that you would get from your local tap water from that area. So that's why Aquafina is in the D tier, because, well, it's just tap water that's bottled, and they're selling it for a very premium price, which at least when you pay premium prices for other water bottles, they're going to be from like I would recommend something from a single source or from a actual natural spring, an artesian well, something like that. But nope, this is just tap water. So Aquafina's on the D tier. Arrowhead, again, nothing special about this one. Pretty similar to Aquafina. It's just from a various municipal sources, similar to tap water. So again, nothing special about this one. That's why it's on the D tier. I mean, again, the D tier, it means that these waters, like, I'm not saying don't drink them. If you have to drink them, then sure. Like, you can buy a whole pack of these pretty cheap. And if you need them for camping trips, then sure. But it's just not the water I would like to get if it was available. If there is something better available, I would go for those instead. Dasani, same thing. I would only drink Dasani if I had to, but nothing special. It's just tap water. It's the same as Aquafina. It's by Coke instead of Pepsi. Aquafina is owned by Pepsi. Dasani is owned by Coke. But there's nothing special about it. It's just overpriced tap water in a bottle. You only drink it if you have to, if there's no other choices, right? Kirkland, this one's by Costco. Pretty much the same as Arrowhead. And it's pretty much, these waters all taste kind of similar because it's just they just take the local municipal sources and they they add extra minerals for taste and stuff. But it's really not that different from each other. None of these waters taste that different from each other. Isis. Okay, so this one's actually from Korea, and yeah, the brand is called Isis. It's by Lotte. It's an 8 pH, so it's actually an alkaline water. But to me, this one's also nothing special. First of all, I don't really like most alkaline waters. The taste is a little bit bitter to me. But yeah, this one is also, it actually pretty much is similar to tap water as well, just in Korean tap water, because this one takes its sources from various wells that are, you know, in Korea. So it's pretty much the Korean version of Aquafina or Dasani. Yeah, it's just taking it from various sources around Korea. Nothing special about Isis. That's why it's generally the cheapest in Korea for bottled water. So Life Water. Life Water's on this tier because it's pretty similar to Smart Water for me, which is also going to be on this tier. Like, it's purified, and then they add some extra, like, you know, this one says electrolytes, but they add in some extra stuff for taste. But overall, it tastes pretty artificial to me, and it's also kind of overpriced. So for what it is, I mean, it doesn't come from any special source or anything. So yeah, it's not natural, doesn't come from any natural source. It's just purified water. That's the same thing as Smart Water. Just this one has some extra cool graphic on the bottle, and that's about it. Nothing special about Life Water. And there we go, Smart Water. So yeah, Smart Water vapor distilled. So it's actually, they purify it based on a vapor distillation process, which is not that special actually. They're claiming it to be some kind of special thing, but it still tastes like kind of artificial. The way that they purify, they add electrolytes later. It's very processed. So it doesn't come from any natural source. So again, nothing special about Smart Water. I actually really didn't like the taste of this water. It tasted very strange to me. So yeah, when I did my taste test video a couple years back, yeah, I think I like Smart Water the least. Generally, I would pick up almost anything else if it was available. Like, Smart Water costs a lot of money too. Even if Aquafina and Dasani are available, I'd probably pick it over Smart Water because at least they're cheaper. Poland Spring. Okay, this water, the bottle is really fancy looking, and it says it's from Maine. But honestly, it's not that different than Aquafina or Dasani because, or Arrowhead, because yeah, they're taking their water from different wells and different sources, different springs. So yeah, it's spring water, but it doesn't have one source that it's from. So again, there's no consistency through this water either. So it's just like Arrowhead or Kirkland. These brands, like, they're from multiple sources. Any bottled water from multiple sources, I'm going to rank lower because you can't get a consistent taste out of them. And yeah, honestly, nothing special. They just bottle it in this cool looking bottle, but honestly, it's not too different from the other brands on this list. DMZ. Another Korean brand, like the name implies, it's the water sourced from near the Korean DMZ, which is like the border between South Korea and North Korea. That makes it seem like it's special, but actually it's not. I mean, sure, you can say it's more purified because there's not been any human activity in that area for a long time. But to me, there's honestly nothing special about this water, and it might as well just be Isis because it tastes pretty much similar to Isis for me. So yeah, not that different. DMZ water. It's funny how they named it though. Nestle Pure Life, pretty much the same as the other Arrowhead, Kirkland, right? It's just another bottled water that's from various sources. So it could be from different wells or springs, but they're not in one place. They're from various sources. You don't get any consistency out of that. So yeah, honestly, this is just one of those bottles you can pick up if you really want to save money, and if you have to, then you can pick up Nestle Pure Life, but not that special, not that different. Okay, so now we're on to the C tier. These are kind of waters that I don't mind drinking at all. So this is real Canadian natural spring water. On the outside, it looks similar to Arrowhead or Kirkland, right? But actually, this comes from one source. This comes from Ferguson, Grey County, Ontario. So any water bottles like from one source is going to be more consistent and better in my opinion. So I actually do like real Canadian. I think that it's a pretty decent water actually. It's from one source and it's cheap. So you can get it pretty much at the same price as a Kirkland, or you can get it at the same price as a Nestle Pure Life. But I prefer real Canadian since it's a single source. Suntory, this one is from the Minami Alps, and you can get this in Japan. Again, not bad. It's basically from one source, and yeah, like if you need a refresher, this one's is just fine. So yeah, I mean, just the fact that it's from a natural source and it's from one source, that definitely puts a higher tier than the other ones I listed in the D tier. So Suntory Suntory mineral water is pretty good, just like everything else from Suntory. Can't go wrong with anything Suntory. So also in the C tier, I have Proud Source, which is a Canadian company, I believe. It comes from the Rocky Mountains in Canada. 8.5 pH is alkaline, but honestly, like this one, although it doesn't really taste that bitter like other alkaline waters I've tried, but I think it's just a little bit overpriced. Like this one's really expensive, and honestly, it tastes pretty similar to Flow. Flow is another water that's going to be on this list, but I put it up a little bit higher because this one is more expensive, and honestly, it's a bit overpriced for me. Like, yeah, it tastes alright, but it's just got that. It's got kind of this milky, creamy type of flavor to it, which I have tasted with some other waters too, which is fine, but this one is a bit overpriced in my opinion for that type of taste. So yeah, pretty much tastes the same as Flow, and Flow will be higher up on this list because it's not as expensive. But yeah, this one is pretty much the same taste as Flow, just more expensive. Nothing like too special about it. I mean, it's all right, but definitely a very smooth tasting water, but it is very expensive, and that's why I do have to account for the value that you get as well, and that's why it's lower on this list here. Valser. This is another mineral water that I got in Switzerland. If you guys can see, there's a Switzerland logo here. Again, not bad. Any of the water from Europe is generally pretty good. And nothing, I think this is not as good as the Italian waters I've tried, for sure. Definitely still prefer the Italian waters, but again, not bad, right? It comes from a natural source, and any of the European like natural sources are generally pretty pristine, so not bad. That's why Valser is on C tier as well. Then we have Paeksansu, which is a brand by Nongshim in Korea. So if you guys don't know, Paekdusan is kind of like it's a mountain in Korea, but it's in North Korea near the border of North Korea and China, and it's like a legendary mountain in Korean history. So it's their worst. It's the Koreans' like most worshipped mountain, right? It's kind of like similar to Mount Fuji in Japan. So you can think of Paekdusan as kind of the Mount Fuji equivalent, but in Korea. And this water comes from near Mount Paekdusan, on the Chinese border, of course, not the North Korean border. And that's where they get this water. To me, it's not bad. I mean, I would definitely drink this in Korea over Isis and DMZ. But there's one more Korean water, actually two more Korean waters on this list that's going to be higher tier than this because, yeah, it's just not bad. I mean, it's not like a water that's as smooth tasting for me, and it's mineral water, but to me, the taste just isn't as good as the other Korean waters I'll have in the higher tier. But it's not bad. So yeah, Paeksansu is on the C tier for me. All right, so same thing with Modern Calm. I think this is another water that you normally wouldn't find very often in Korean shops or convenience stores, but it's not bad. It comes from Gyeonggi-do, which is the area around Seoul, and it's a natural mineral water. I don't know exactly what springs they get it from, but they get it from around Seoul in Gyeonggi-do. And it's okay. I would probably say it's better than Isis, but not the same level as Samdasu. And probably I would take that Monbest water over it as well. I would say this is probably the same level as Paeksansu. So Paeksansu and Morning Calm I would probably put in the same tier here. They're just okay. As far as Korean waters go, yeah, they're okay, decent. I would probably still take picked up Samdasu and Montbest, but yeah, this is okay. Same level as Paeksansu, and yeah, better than DMZ and Isis. So it's okay. Again, not a water you would normally find in Korea, but it's not bad. So this is Body Armor Sport Water, and I had this when I was staying in the US for a bit. It's endorsed by this female soccer player, Alex Morgan. I don't know her too well because I don't really follow soccer or female soccer. Definitely not. But yeah, it's just a standard alkaline water. So because it's alkaline, at least for the normal alkaline waters, like the very high pH ones, it always tastes like a little bit bitter to me. And so this one does taste a bit similar to pH, Perfect Hydration, or Essentia. So if it's very high alkaline water, it'll taste like kind of a little bit bitter. But yeah, this one doesn't really taste that different from any other average bottled water, I would say. So yeah, I put this on C tier, and C tier is what I consider to be pretty average. Nothing special about this one. Yeah, it's just your standard purified alkaline water. So I mean, pretty similar to your Core or Sentia, that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, there's waters higher up on this list that are alkaline, but that's because they actually don't taste like alkaline water because they're not like as artificial. They're actually from a natural source. I feel like the alkaline water is just from a natural source. It tastes a little bit. It just tastes better to me. It's not. It just tastes more natural, for lack of a better word. These waters that are like purified or used to reverse osmosis and stuff like that just taste a little more like artificial compared to the waters actually coming from a natural source. Anyways, that's just how I feel. But this water is nothing special. That's why I just put it here in the C tier. Pretty similar to Core or Sentia, I guess. I don't think it's as high pH as Essentia, but yeah, like it's in between Core and Essentia, but it's pretty much the same tier. Liquid Death. Yeah, I found this water as well. It's getting pretty popular in the US. What's really unique about this water is they package it in a can, so it looks like a bottle. It looks like a can of beer. It looks like alcohol, but it's not. It's water. So I give credit to the company because I think one reason they're so popular is because they're different. First of all, they call themselves Liquid Death, which is that's definitely a very bold marketing name for a bottled water. I mean, if you think about it, right? Out of all the things that we can eat and drink in our lives, water is probably the most healthiest, right? So it's funny calling it Liquid Death. It's natural artesian water from the mountain. It says "Murder your thirst." So bold marketing claims, and it's packaged very in a very unique packaging because it's a can that's typically reserved for alcohol, not for water. So yeah, I have to give credit to the company for the marketing stuff because they're really out there. That's why they're getting popular, I guess. But for the actual taste, I don't think it's really anything special. So I just put it along the rest of this list. I know it's actually at least from a natural source. It says natural artesian water, so it's not as artificial as the reverse osmosis purification stuff. So yeah, it's definitely like not smart water or anything. I mean, definitely better than that. And it's better than Aquafina and Dasani. But yeah, I don't know if I could put this that high because I didn't feel like it's anything special about this water. It's just that it has a unique packaging. That's it. And it has a unique marketing. So okay, Liquid Death, Murder Your Thirst, and it comes in a can, so it grabs your attention. As for the actual water itself, I didn't find it anything special. It just has a nice eye-catching type of design and marketing. Path is okay. This is a sparkling water, but they also sell a still water as well. This is also just okay. I picked this up at the airport, I think in San Francisco, SFO. And what's unique about this one is that it's refillable. So this one, when you buy the bottle here, it's an aluminum bottle. So you can actually refill it and use it later on. You can reuse it. So that's what's really cool about this one, is that you can reuse the bottle. It costs a little bit more because of that, but yeah, but you get an extra bottle out of it, basically. And it comes in a still version and a sparkling version. Both versions are just okay. Nothing special. Like the actual water itself, like that's why I put it in this tier. But the fact that you get a refillable bottle out of it is cool. So I do have to commend it on that, giving you it's like most bottled water is bad for the environment, right? So the fact that they give you a refillable aluminum bottle is pretty nice. So just have to give props to the company for that. But the actual water itself is just okay. That's why I put it on the C tier here. It's just pretty average sparkling or still water. Just feel like it just belongs in this tier, I think, yeah, not that different than I put Perrier on this tier as well, so it's not like too different from that. Or C tier is still water would be like Core, like that's my standard average water would be like Core, that's just the typical okay, not as bad as your Aquafina, Dasani or Smart Water, but not as good as your more expensive premium artesian water either. But anyways, this is just okay. But I like the fact that it comes in a refillable bottle. Okay, Perrier. This is one brand that I honestly find, like, people talk about Perrier a lot. This is a very famous French carbonated water brand. You see in a lot of places, even high-end restaurants. But to me, there's nothing special about Perrier. I mean, yes, it's not a D tier water or anything, but I think for what it is, it's yeah. They always say like, oh, they have like 1 billion bottles in the container or whatever, but it's honestly not that carbonated, and there's nothing special about the taste of Perrier to me, anyways. It's still, I mean, it's a C tier. It comes from one source in France, and they've been doing it a long time. They've been selling Perrier water, I think, since the 1800s. So they've been selling it for a long time, commercializing it. But yeah, the taste itself is nothing special to me. Honestly, out of carbonated water, I think Perrier is my least favorite. This is like a special edition that they did with Murakami, right? Yeah. So they have different limited editions, but Core. Okay, Core Hydration. It says it's perfectly balanced pH, 7.4, because that's the closest to water's natural pH or something. Nothing special about this water. It tastes, honestly, yeah, it's not bad, but it's nothing special either. I would probably drink Core over Smart Water, because I think the taste of Core is actually something I can that's like more natural tasting than Smart Water is, or Life Water for that matter. But yeah, yeah, there's nothing special about it, but it does taste better than Smart Water, and it's purified. I think maybe in a similar way, they have reverse osmosis or something, so it's not exactly natural. It doesn't come from a natural source or anything, but at least it tastes better than Smart Water does, so it's on the C tier. Volvic. This is a natural spring water. I believe it's a French brand. So Volvic sells a lot of their water in Europe as well. Yeah, and it comes from a natural source in France. So that by itself would put it in the C tier, because you're from one source and it's from a natural source. So it's got to be at least C tier. But to me, nothing special about the taste of this. So that's why it's still C tier and not higher. Okay, 1907. This is a New Zealand naturally alkaline artesian water with a pH of 7.1 to 8.2. Yeah, this one is also nothing special to me. I mean, actually, a lot of alkaline water I don't really like that much, because there's a little bit of a bitter taste to it, which I don't really like. I guess if you like alkaline water, this might rank higher for you, but for me, yeah, I don't like the alkaline waters as much, and that's why a lot of the alkaline waters will generally go in this tier, because I just don't like their bitter taste. They have a little bit of a bitter flavor to it. Like, it's not bad. Like, it's not bad. It's just really not my preference. So that's why a lot of the alkaline waters, including 1907, will end up in this tier. But hey, it's good that it's from a single source in New Zealand. That sounds pretty pure. Essentia. So Essentia is another alkaline water, and like I said, most alkaline waters will probably go in this tier. Again, same thing I said for 1907. I don't really like the taste of alkaline water, and Essentia is probably the most famous alkaline water. They're very highly commercialized, so this one's probably the one most people know about when they think about alkaline water. 9.5 pH, that's pretty high. But yeah, I don't like the bitter taste associated with, for me anyways. I think it's a little bit bitter for me to taste alkaline water, so I generally don't like it. But I will say that this one doesn't seem to come from a natural source like 1907 does. So at least 1907 comes from a natural artesian source, and Essentia seems to be just purified in a similar way to Smart Water or Core. So I think that would actually, I mean, they're both on the same tier, but I would actually pick 1907 if I had the choice between 1907 or Essentia. pH, Perfect Hydration. This is a brand that I can find more easily in Canada over Essentia. I actually had this one in my taste test video a few years ago, but essentially it is Essentia. I mean, 9.5, 9.5. I mean, it's pretty much the same. Like purified. Like this one's also not really from a natural source. So if 1907 is available, I would take 1907 over Essentia and pH, but all of them are same tier to me because I don't really like any of these alkaline waters. I don't like the taste of them. Voss. Okay, this one is not that this one actually has a decent amount of taste to it and flavor. It's just that it's kind of overpriced. So I don't really feel like this one is worth the price. So it's from Norway, but essentially it's from the municipal sources in Norway. So you're essentially drinking the same tap water that Norwegians get, which honestly isn't too bad. I mean, it's pure. The water's pretty pure in Norway, but they're just like bottling up the Norway tap water and reselling it for a huge markup. Essentially, that's what Voss is. Black. So this one is a bit of an interesting one. This is alkaline water. It's 8.0 plus pH, but this one also has fulvic minerals in it. So this one is actually a black colored because it has fulvic minerals. I guess nutritionally it could be better for you, but I don't like the taste of this water. Yeah, it's just something strange about the taste. Again, it's not a D tier because I understand there might be some people that like this water because of the benefits of the fulvic minerals, but it just tastes strange to me. So anyways, C is kind of the tier where it's like, it's not like, there's something interesting about this water in the C tier, but it's not for me. And I think there's other waters I would much rather have. So that's pretty much what I think of the waters in the C tier. Is there's something about the water, you know, that I can understand about it that I like, but at the same time, there's better waters I would get. Evian. So I think this is my feelings about Evian. It's the same, similar to Voss. It's like, it's overpriced. I mean, yes, it's from a single source spring in the French Alps, and it's one of the oldest actually commercialized like premium bottled waters, because Evian's usually quite expensive. But I've never really felt anything special about Evian water. It's just like, okay, it's got a decent taste to it, but it's not. There's better, like for me, there's better, like more smoother tasting waters in the higher tiers, and it's expensive. So yeah, I understand this is from a natural source by the French Alps, which is good. That's why it's on the C tier. But yeah, there's other water brands I probably go for that are less overpriced. And yeah, that's the C. Okay, so this is the B tier. These are generally waters that if I can find them, I'm pretty satisfied with them. The only thing is the waters in the A tier I think are a little bit better in taste, but I'm completely satisfied with any of the waters in the B tier too. And yeah, if they're available, definitely wouldn't mind drinking any of these waters. They're all pretty decently good in terms of taste and flavor and everything. So Sveva is this is an Italian brand. I don't know if they sell this out of Italy, but I didn't see it that much even in Italy. But anyways, I got this one. And it's effervescent, which means that it's sparkling, and apparently helps your digestion, which I guess makes sense because carbonated mineral water I think does help with digestion or indigestion. But anyways, pretty solid water. I think I like pretty much any Italian water. Italians, they have access to some pretty good water, man. I mean, yeah. So most of their water is pretty good. And yeah, this one is going to be my B tier. I think it's pretty solid carbonated water. There's some water that I like a little bit better than this, but it's still pretty solid. Okay, so this is QT Mayam. This is a Korean brand, and it's not like too well known of a Korean brand, but it has an interesting flavor to it. It's got this kind of creamy, milky taste to it. So it does have a lot of minerals, but also has this like creamy kind of milky flavor, which is pretty interesting, honestly. Not actually my favorite Korean water. I have one in the A tier. But this one is pretty solid. I definitely wouldn't mind drinking it. Whistler water. Okay, so this one I really like. I actually did a video. This one is in my taste test video as well. But this one I think is really solid for the price. I mean, yeah, if one of the waters in my A tier is available, I would still drink that over Whistler. But still, if Whistler is available, I really don't mind drinking this at all. This is a really nice water too. It's from the mountains, glaciers actually, of Whistler. So Whistler is a famous ski resort city in British Columbia, Canada, which is where I live. So it's pretty local to me. It's from a single source. It's from a very pure source, being the glaciers. And yeah, to me, this is a pretty solid water. I would definitely drink this one over like Evian or some of the others I listed like below that, actually more expensive. So, you know, this is not that expensive either because it's local. So local water, not that expensive, pure source, and tastes pretty good in my opinion. Very smooth, pure tasting. So I like Whistler water, and affordable too. Flow. This is a naturally alkaline spring water. So this is an alkaline water, yes. And I already said that usually I don't like alkaline waters, but this one doesn't seem to have the typical like bitter taste associated with alkaline water for me. So that's why this one is a little bit higher. And it's from a natural source, being a natural spring water. It's not one of those purified via reverse osmosis things. So yeah, definitely, I think this one is a little bit of a higher tier than the other alkaline waters for me, like Essentia or pH. So yeah, this one kind of, it's like 1807, no, 1907, that brand, yeah, 1907 or 1807. Oh yeah, another thing about Flow is that this water seems to have this similar kind of smooth, creamy, milky taste as QT Mayim does. So that's another interesting thing as well. I felt QT Mayim had this like kind of creamy, milky taste to it, and the same thing with Flow. So yeah, it's got a kind of interesting taste. I wouldn't say I necessarily like love it or anything. I just find it unique, and I don't mind it. It's just kind of a unique taste. So essentially, it's like that 1907 brand, except without the bitterness. And it comes from a natural source, just like the 1907 brand. And on top of that, it's in a box, which is more environmentally friendly. So there's that going for it as well. Okay, Samdasu. So this is actually my favorite Korean bottled water. And little bit of a historical background for you guys. Korea wasn't allowed to sell commercial, publicly consumable bottled water until the mid 90s. So what happened is, I don't know actually exactly why Korea banned bottled water for a long time, but Korean Air had bottled water on the flights, right? And eventually that bottled water was from Jeju, and that started spreading. And from the mid 1990s, I think Samdasu came out, which is the first publicly available bottled water in Korea. So if you guys didn't know that, that's a fun fact for you guys. It's the first publicly available bottled water in Korea, and it's from Jeju Island near the volcanoes of Jeju. Halasan actually is the main volcano in Jeju, and I like it. It's really smooth, pure tasting, and a decent amount of minerals in it. I think I prefer it to any other Korean water. So I prefer to QT Mayim, which has its own kind of taste as well, but I prefer to QT Mayim, and also of course prefer to DMZ and pick Sansu and Isis as well. So Samdasu is available in Korea. I pick it up. It's a pretty commonly available water. It's generally the most expensive bottled water in Korea as well. But yeah, this one was the first publicly available bottled water in Korea, because previously you could only get bottled water on planes in Korean Air. They weren't allowed to be publicly sold. I don't know why, but yeah, only from the mid 1990s did Korea have bottled water that you can buy from the stores. Crazy, right? Okay, so this one is from Korea. This is very low key in marketing because you can barely even see the name of it. It doesn't even come with a plastic label, but it's called Mong Best. It's not like a really well-known water in Korea, but yeah, we ordered this one when I was staying in Korea, and yeah, it's good actually. I put it on the same level as probably it's actually probably same level as Jeju Samdasu, to be honest. It's pretty good for Korean water. So I would put this definitely on the upper tier of Korean waters, like better than Isis, probably better than Paektusan, probably around the same level Samdasu and QT Mayim. So probably in the same level as those. So pretty good actually. Again, not a water you find normally in Korea, but yeah, if you order this in bulk, it's actually pretty good, and I think it's a good price too. So Mont Best is pretty good water. I'm actually not sure exactly the source where it's from, but anyway, so it tastes very crisp and refreshing. Okay, Fugi. This is Italian water. It's a very good water actually. It's bottled at Fugi, Italy. Natural spring water. It comes from one source, very pure. The thing is, this is not in the A tier because I find it a little bit overpriced. I mean, this is very expensive. I had to buy this at one of those small little grocery stores, like specialist grocery stores, I guess, in California. So not very easy to find, and it was pretty expensive. Honestly, it didn't taste that different than the other Italian waters to me. I mean, all the Italian waters taste really good, but this one didn't taste that different from the other Italian waters, and it's also more expensive. So that's why it's on the B tier. I would still, of course, drink this. I love any Italian water, but it's just kind of overpriced. Skyra. So this one is pretty solid. It comes from 7-Eleven, actually. So it's imported from Iceland. It's 7-Eleven's brand, but they import some Icelandic water, and it's 8.88 naturally alkaline. And it's pretty solid. actually. I don't get any bitterness from this one. Like I said, I usually don't like alkaline waters, but this one didn't have much bitterness for me, and it tastes pretty smooth and refreshing, and it's also affordable. So yeah, not necessarily the best tasting water as some of the brands in the A tier, but I think it's pretty solid. So it's B tier for me. Tahoe. So this one's also pretty expensive. As the name implies, it comes from near Lake Tahoe in California, which I've been to a few times. Beautiful area. So yeah, this one comes from a pretty natural source. It's a carbonated water. Generally, it's a pretty nice tasting water. Just it's expensive. So I'll put like a water that I think are pretty expensive in this tier here. Like this one's artesian, and it's really not sold in large quantities. I'm not sure if you can even get this outside of California, but yeah, overall, nice tasting carbonated water, just pretty expensive. Same thing with this brand, Saint Guerin, a naturally carbonated spring water from France, from a Roman source. Roman springs, back in the day, they had a lot of good natural sources. All in all, pretty good water, just really expensive. Again, I bought this from the same specialty grocery store back in California. Yeah, it's I mean, again, it's a good water. I like it. Just pretty pretty expensive. That's why it's on the B tier. Yeah, it's not easy to find either. Same thing, Castle Rock water. Again, not sure if it's available outside of California, but it comes from Shasta Springs in California. I think just like with Tahoe, limited availability, pretty expensive. Not quite as expensive as Tahoe. This one looks like it, this one's in a wine type of bottle, so you can tell it's kind of expensive. But Castle Rock is still fairly expensive, and it's a good water, nice water. It's it's got the history and everything. Shasta Springs is an area that apparently was well known for the actually a lot of these mineral waters come from areas that were formerly spas, right? That were kind of used for a lot of people back in the 1800s and 1900s. They were used as spas, and the water came from these areas because it's very pure, refreshing. And Castle Rock is pretty nice too. Shasta Springs is a historical area for baths, I guess, for springs. So they used to have kind of a tourist attraction there, I guess, for people to relax. Yeah, I mean, it's from 1889, so that's how long this water has been bottled. But it's still limited distribution, I think. I haven't seen this too much outside of California. Good water, just yeah, again, on the pricey side. Okay, so next we have Saratoga. Saratoga is a water brand that's been around since the 1870s, as you can see in the bottle here. This happens to be the carbonated version, but they also have a still version, I believe, as well. It comes from Pennsylvania, I believe, near the Appalachian Mountains, which is it's interesting. It used to be it's one of those spots that used to be a popular tourist destination for a spa, and that's really why a lot of these older waters come from, is from places that used to be kind of like a spa. But yeah, overall, I like it. It's got a decent amount of carbonation in it. Very pretty good taste in it. I can taste the minerals in this one as well. But yeah, I think overall it's a pretty good one. I wouldn't say it's top tier, which is why it's still in the B tier, and it's definitely on the expensive side. I would say that this reminds me the most of Tahoe water, which is yeah, also on this tier. But yeah, overall pretty solid. If you're looking for carbonated spring water, definitely pretty refreshing. Just it's a bit on the expensive side, I think. There are waters that are in the A tier that are tasting pretty similar to this, but less expensive, and value does account for something, so that's why this one's a little bit lower, but it's still a pretty decent tasting water. Yeah, overall I think this reminds me of Tahoe or Castle Rock, so pretty good, solid carbonated waters, just a little bit on the pricey side, but yeah, if this was available, and it's not just like Tahoe and Castle Rock, it's a little bit more limited, so you don't find it everywhere. So if I do see it somewhere, then I definitely don't mind having it for sure. Eska. So I feel the same way about Eska as I do about Whistler. Actually, this is a pretty solid water. It's from Quebec. It's from a single source. Actually, I'm not sure if it's from a single source, but it's from a very natural source in Quebec, which is kind of like these glacier-like frozen rivers called eskers. So anyways, not too expensive. You can buy them in Canada pretty affordably. Actually, I think it's more affordable than Whistler water is. But it's from a natural source, and very pure source, and I like it. I think it's really solid for the price. So if you can find Esca, I mean, sure, it's not like the best tasting water, but for me, it's good enough, and I definitely wouldn't mind getting Esca just for the fact that it's pretty affordable, and the water is pretty decent tasting, just like with Whistler, it's pretty solid, especially for the price. Fiji. So Fiji is expensive, and it obviously comes from Fiji, from artesian well. So it's from a natural source, and it's a very pure source. Overall, I think I like Fiji a little bit better than some of the other premium, well-known water brands like Evian and Voss. So I think in that comparison video I did, taste test video a few years back, I think Fiji was a little bit better for me than Evian and Voss. So hence it is a higher tier than them. At the same time, I cannot say that Fiji is the best water because it's still kind of overpriced. So yeah, yeah, I like Fiji water. Definitely wouldn't mind drinking it. Just a little bit overpriced. Montelier. This is another brand that I think that's just like with Esca and Whistler. I think this is a really good value brand for Canadian water. It comes from a source in Quebec, a single source actually, and it's carbonated, and it's generally very affordable. Like you can find this like generally for like I would say 50% the price of a San Pellegrino or a Perrier. Like these are pretty affordable carbonated water, especially in Canada. Like I'm not sure if this is available widely outside of Canada, but I think this is a very solid choice for the price. So this is another one where, just like with Esca and Whistler, I put it in the B tier just because it's very solid tasting for the price. So not necessarily the best tasting water, but it's good for the price. All right, so this is the A tier. This is the best waters that I've had, especially if you factor in the price and availability. Okay, so Hawaii Volcanic is this is the water I've only found in Hawaii. I don't know how widely available it is outside of Hawaii, but it's pretty similar to Waikea, which you also see on this list. It's naturally alkaline. Doesn't seem to bother me because it doesn't have that bitter flavor like other alkaline waters that I've tasted has. But overall, I really like it. This is very smooth, refreshing. Comes from near one of the volcanoes in Hawaii, I believe. So yeah, I found the water in Hawaii to be pretty pure. So this is one of the brands you can find in the Hawaiian supermarkets, and I really like this one. So Hawaiian Volcanic's there. And similar to Hawaiian Volcanic, and probably more widely marketed, is Waikea, which I actually found in California as well. I don't think I found this one outside of California, but Waikea I've seen outside of Hawaii before in California. So this one's also Hawaiian Volcanic water. Pretty much Hawaii Volcanic and Waikea, both good. Not too different between these two. They're both really like kind of smooth tasting waters, very refreshing. I don't actually know if this was naturally oh no, this one is naturally alkaline. Yeah, so they're both naturally alkaline because probably they come from a similar source, right, near the Hawaiian volcanoes. Anyways, I like both of these. Waikea packaging is a bit better and they're better marketed, but otherwise they're both really nice waters. So if they're available, Waikea is the better known of the two, but it's still not really widely available. Like I don't really see Waikea in Canada, for example. So if I do see it, I'll definitely pick up Waikea. So it's definitely, these two are definitely pretty nice, both from Hawaii. Very pure source. Uliveto. So with Italian waters, you can't go wrong, right? I especially like Italian still waters. So yeah, this one being from Acqua e Terme di Uliveto, so from a single source in Italy. I think Italians are lucky, man. They have really good water. Like all their waters are really nice, pure tasting, very refreshing. This one, Uliveto, is not as commonly found as some of the other Italian waters here, but yeah, if it's available, I'll get it. I got this one in Italy. I haven't really seen outside of Italy though. San Benedetto. Now this one is more common in Italy. I haven't seen this one in North America, but certainly in Italy, San Benedetto seems to be fairly common, but it's really good. Just like with Uliveto, I mean, yeah, this one's pretty pure, refreshing, smooth tasting water. I think this one is, yeah, it's probably the most common still water that you'll find in Italy from what I've seen from my traveling. So if it's available, sure, I'll take it. And it seems to be pretty affordable as well, because San Benedetto seems to be, again, fairly common in Italy, so like it's not that expensive, and it's solid for what it is. It's like for Italian water, you know, can't go wrong. They all taste really good. Now Topo Chico, this one is mineral water carbonated. It's from Mexico, I believe. And this one is very, very highly carbonated. So it's probably the most carbonated water I've tasted. So it has the most bubbles out of all the the carbonated waters I've tried. And it's from Monterrey, Mexico. It's from a single source. I do like how pure it is and how much carbonation is in it, and yeah, I do like it. It tastes pretty good. If Topo Chico is available, I'll definitely pick it up, but it's generally not too easy to find in Canada. I think it's definitely more easier to find near California and western area of the United States, but yeah, if I see it in Canada, I'll definitely pick up Topo Chico. Love Topo. All right, San Pellegrino. I really do like San Pellegrino. This is a very common, widely known carbonated water brand. You can easily find it in any grocery store. It's widely exported. I think out of the Italian waters, this is probably the most well-known Italian water, like globally, and it's really good. It's from San Pellegrino Terme. It's from a single source. They've been at that source for hundreds of years. This is a like a long background. I definitely like it over Perrier. I think this is much better than Perrier. So Perrier and San Pellegrino are probably the two most well-known carbonated water brands. I much prefer San Pellegrino. I think there's the level of carbonation is better. It's smoother tasting. It's more refreshing. Yeah, I just think San Pellegrino is way better than Perrier. Perrier is like nothing special to me, but San Pellegrino, this is the stuff. Italian water, man, you can't go wrong with that. So, anyways, I love San Pellegrino. Okay, now this one, not so commonly found, I think, but I picked this up in California before, but Aqua Carpatica from the mountains of the Carpathian Mountains in Romania, actually. This one is really good. Now, I actually forget how expensive this was. I don't think this was too expensive, but it's not cheap either. It's naturally alkaline, 8.2 pH. I actually do like the flavor from this one, though. This one tastes like it's fresh out of a... It's like if I went to the woods and there was like a really fresh spring there, and I just, drank out of that spring, and, it's all pure and everything. And yeah, it just kind of has that feeling to it. And I mean, that's how they advertise it as well, but it really is just like, wow, you can find the purest spring you can imagine in the middle of the mountains in the forest, and you just drink from it. And that's what Aqua Carpatica tastes like. It's really fresh tasting. So anyways, I don't know how to explain it better. It's just really refreshing, and I do like this water. I would definitely get it again if I can find it, but it's not really easily found. Jermik. This is really interesting water. So this is a carbonated mineral water from Armenia, and this has a very interesting taste to it because it has kind of a salty taste to it. I guess the source where it's from in Armenia has a natural salt content, but this one has a little bit of a salty flavor to it, which is interesting. And also I really like the taste of this. It's a very interesting flavor, and from a natural source that's been actually they've been using this source for hundreds of years, probably. Jermik, even though it's been produced only since the 50s, but the source itself is it's ancient, and I guess they've been drinking out of it for a long time. And yeah, there's something special about this one. It's got this slightly salty flavor to it, and still very, very nice tasting, smooth tasting. So it's interesting. Yeah, I think if I can find this water, I'll definitely try it out. But it's not really commonly found. Like Jermik is, I know this is a brand that's exported. I'm obviously from Armenia. You're not gonna find too many products from there exported here. But yeah, I'm not sure how widely available this is. But this is the only time I saw it is when I went to the specialty grocery store in California, and I saw it and I wanted to try it. But definitely wouldn't mind trying this again. This is a very unique mineral water, carbonated. All right, Mountain Valley. I love Mountain Valley. This is from the Ouachita Mountains in the U.S. in Arkansas, I believe. This has been produced since the 1800s, and many U.S. presidents drank this water. It's a very historic American spring water from a single source, very natural, very smooth tasting. And I was trying to try this water for a very long time because it's a water I've always wanted to try, because it's one of the oldest bottled American waters. So it's really good. If you guys can find it, I think this was in Seattle, so I was able to find it in Seattle. It doesn't really get exported outside the U.S., not to my knowledge, so I can't find it in Canada. But whenever I'm in the U.S., if I can find Mountain Valley, I pick it up. And it's always in a glass bottle. And to me, glass bottles, There's something about glass bottles. The water tastes smoother if it's from a glass bottle than when it's from a PET plastic bottle, and maybe some of that's placebo or something. But I personally feel like there's a distinction. Like, I don't know. You guys feel like there's a difference between glass bottle water and plastic PET bottle water? I think there's a difference. I think glass bottle water tastes smoother, but yeah, that's just me. And Mountain Valley has always been a glass bottle, so it always tastes very smooth to me. Like for San Pellegrino, for example, this one, I much prefer the glass bottle San Pellegrino to the plastic bottle one. So there's just something about the glass that makes the water taste smoother. Okay, Icelandic Glacial. It is from Iceland, and it's pH 8.4, so it's naturally alkaline. Again, this one doesn't have the typical bitterness of alkaline that Sentia does and stuff, so I don't have any of that. So you guys can see I do have alkaline waters pretty high too, and if I do have it high, that means it doesn't have that bitter taste that I associate with the lower tier alkaline waters. So anyways, Icelandic Glacial, very smooth, pure tasting water. I really do like it. The design of the bottle is really nice too, and you can find this one definitely in Canada and US. This one seems to be pretty widely exported, but yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite still waters. Icelandic Glacial, very smooth, pure tasting. I mean, it's from I think the single source is the Alfis Spring in Iceland, I believe. So yeah, very natural, pure source. So anyways, I like Icelandic Glacial. I definitely pick it up if it's available. Same thing with Acqua Panna. I think it's pretty close between Acqua Panna and Icelandic. Acqua Panna is probably the most well-known Italian still water because it's widely exported. It's by the same company that owns San Pellegrino. So if you guys see San Pellegrino, you probably can also find Acqua Panna as well. This is from the mountains of Tuscany in Italy. And just like with the other Italian waters that I've put on this tier, like you can't go wrong with Italian water. They all taste really nice, very smooth tasting, and I love Acqua Panna. So pretty similar to Icelandic Glacial in terms of how smooth it is, except it's not as alkaline as Icelandic Glacial, but still, if Acqua Panna is available, I also take it. It's a really nice spring water. So also really smooth tasting. And yeah, I think... Is this the, okay, this is the last water I have in this list, Gerolsteiner. So Gerolsteiner is a German brand, and it's carbonated mineral water from the volcanic sources near Germany, Gerolstein, I believe. This is a pretty expensive water. Like generally, I would say this is like maybe $1 more than San Pellegrino usually, or Perrier. So this is a fairly expensive mineral water. It's always in this glass bottle, and this is why I have this on the A tier is because like this is very unique. Just like with Jermik, Jermik is very unique because it has a slightly salty flavor or content to it, and that makes it unique. And it's also really nice tasting as well. And same thing, Gerolsteiner, it's something unique about this one. It seems to have a lot of minerals to it. So it even says source of calcium, magnesium, right? So if you look at the mineral content of Gerolsteiner, the amount of calcium, magnesium that you get from this water is just higher than any other water. Like, you just look at the contents, right? This one seems to have more dissolved minerals than any other water. So it's not as smooth tasting as San Pellegrino, for example, but on the flip side, you get a lot of that mineral taste as well. So if you really like your minerals, this one has a mineral overload. Like this one has so many minerals in it. So I actually put this in my carbonated water comparison test, actually. Gerolsteiner is probably my favorite out of the mainstream, like the kind of easier to find brands of carbonated water. Because if Jermik was available more widely, and this might be up there as well, but yeah, Gerolsteiner, yeah, if it's available, I might take it. It depends on like, you know, it's expensive, so I had to think about the price, right, as well. But yeah, I think this one's actually worth the price though, because you're getting something out of it. You're getting a lot of calcium, magnesium in this water. So this one has a ton of mineral content. So yeah, it's expensive, but I would say it's worth it if you want to have the mineral content of this water, because it's not smooth, but it definitely has it has very highly carbonated mineral taste to it. So anyways, very unique carbonated water. I like Gerolsteiner a lot. It's a very different taste than San Pellegrino, but I like them both all the same. San Pellegrino is more smoother tasting, doesn't have as many minerals, and then Gerolsteiner, not smooth tasting, but you have a very high amount of mineral content. So they're both good in different ways. Gerolsteiner is more expensive too, though. So anyways, that's it, guys. That's my ranking of 50 different brands of bottled water. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think do you think that this was a worthwhile video to make? Did you guys learn something from it? What other brands do you guys want me to look at? Let me know in the comment section below. And yeah, as always, thanks for watching.